Alright, and welcome back to WBEL Week 4. So here's the standings for the blind division. At 3 points we have Alcor, myself, Turambar, and Macrain. At 1 point we have Greatestness, Johnny B, Mohangman, and Unhindered. So there's still Manta Rendell without a point, but we'll see their fight today. So one of them at least will get out of this week with 1 point. So let's see all those matches.
For this matchup, we have Alcor versus Greatestness. On Alcor's side, I'm going to predict the Raph, Lucia, and Ryryu. I think I've predicted this team a couple times already in the past, but this map kind of favors missile units, so I like the Lucia and Ryryu up on the high ground, while Raph is tanking for them down on the low ground. With Raph being one of the strongest tanks in the game, I think it might give Lucia and Ryryu enough time to be able to take out Greatestness units. On Greatestness side, I'm going to go for the Reagan, Miranda, and Murmur team. It is your tried and true Red Mage team, but I think the elements line up pretty well for Greatestness in this matchup. The main threat being the Raldor for the Reagan, but even then, Miranda's there to cover that weakness, and she doesn't have any major lightning threats aside from Mariluke. So, with that being said, let's get into the match and see what they actually chose.
Alright, so for our first match, we have Greatestness against Alcor. So on Greatestness side, we have Reagan, Miranda, and Murmur. On Alcor's side, we have Perrine, Ryryu, and Lucia. So let's see how it went.
Alright, over here from Alcor's side, this is about what I predicted. I did not guess the Perrine would be coming out. I would have expected the Raph, but the two gunners on this map seems to be very highly missile favored, so that's not a surprise to see. The Red Mage team coming out from Greatestness, also not a surprise, a very strong team comp. So I'm excited to see what's going to happen when these two teams meet. Let's see if the Gunners get enough time to be able to set up their buffs. Perrine's already getting out there in front, so she might be able to disrupt Greatestness team's buffs. So let's see how this goes. Right now, Lucia getting Griever's Wings, the new Squall TMR, which is nice to see. Get that haste online. And then we have Murmur just setting up the buffs. Nice little buff rotation coming out from both teams. So when they engage, we should be able to see them at full power. And here we go with the first hit of the match from Ryryu, Armbuster.
Yeah, I was wondering about the range, but Ryryu has monster range.
Yeah.
Even Miranda, our range is really far, but it seems like it's not enough. We have Alcor going next. Oh, Vortex Kick.
Oh, wow.
Well tanked by Greatestness units. So now we have Murmur going now. Because of the camera placement, we can't see the range, unfortunately. It will be hard for us to commentate. Reagan, not much damage on Perrine, but still nearly half of her health. Ryryu, not enough. What? I think he had enough AP.
Yeah, he had plenty.
It was a basic attack, right?
Yeah, it was a basic attack. Oh, wow.
Okay, so this Lucia isn't playing, so that Murmur is already dead. So Miranda going next. What is she casting? Probably more Water Aga. She sure survived the hit from Perrine, and she kills that Ryryu. So now we have very low HP Lucia from Alcor. At least for him, he still has at least one attack. Oh boy! So the two Courage are procced now, so it's their last chance. Oh wow, this is big. So Reagan's not able to kill that Perrine, so Perrine's going next. Yeah, that was big. So Miranda's going down. Now we have Reagan. So Reagan going forward. So basic attack. Reagan killing that Lucia. Okay, so Perrine against Reagan. It's that big showdown. So let's see if Perrine has the damage. Not enough, but still a big chunk of damage. So Reagan is able to one-shot that Perrine. Oh no, not enough. Oh, unfortunately. Ah, that's going to be big. Oh, but only 5 AP.
No AP.
Not enough to kill Reagan. Oh, and city up. Ah, that was tight.
Oh wait, okay.
Oh,
because
wow.
I know she does have that predictive counter, so I was like, there's a chance, but not quite enough.
Oh wow. Another great fight coming from Greatestness and Alcor.
Yeah, that was impressive. Down to the very last hit. If there's just a little bit more AP coming out from Perrine's side, she definitely would have had it, but Reagan was able to clean up that match right there.
I still don't understand that basic attack from Ryu.
I don't either. It must have been a height range thing, or I really am not sure.
Oh, maybe.
Height range, or maybe there was just a lot of missile resistance expecting the missile resist. But I mean, with how much Lucia did, I don't know. I think it had to be height range.
Yeah, that's the thing with gunners, because even if they have the range, they have to have the 8 right.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh man, I think this was the key of the match. That Ryu not able to do a skill. He really had the AP. It wasn't the issue.
Yeah, it was hard for me to nail a key of the match for this one. Miranda being able to hit the gunners in the back to take out the Ryu and bring Lucia down far enough was also pretty big. I don't know. I guess I'd say that the key of the match for me would probably be Perrine, just not having just enough AP to close it out, because it was down to the wire right there.
Well, it was really an awesome fight. Pretty close, fighting until the end.
Agreed.
Alright, so let's jump into the next match.
Alright, so for this matchup, we have Unhindered versus Johnny B. For this matchup, I actually see two routes that both teams could take that I think are both pretty good. From Unhindered side, I actually like the Kefka Moore combo. I think it does well against a lot of Johnny B's roster, but I think you have to respect the Naya coming out from Johnny B's side. So instead, I went with a more physical oriented with Cloud and Esther and Zazan. I think that this team is really strong with the Lightning synergy. It was a good combo back in the day. I think it's a little underrated now today. I think it could do really well. And against a lot of Johnny B's lineup, I think it would be pretty solid to bring. From Johnny B's side, I can see the Bow team with Summer Lilith and Nivlu coming out, but I'm not too familiar with how much damage they can output, and I don't know if they can put out enough damage before the other team crosses the gap. So to play it a little bit more safe, I went with another kind of brawl team comp with Kyo, Dario, and Naya. I think having that Naya in there for the Reflect is huge, and then otherwise it's just your standard DPS tank sustain combo. Let's get into the match and see what these two players brought.
Alright, so second fight, we have Johnny B against Unhindered. So from Johnny B's side, we have a redo from the previous fight. So we have Murmur, Reagan, and Miranda. On Unhindered side, we have hOwLeT, Mario Moore, and Rain. So let's see how it went.
Yep, and just like you said, we have a redo from the previous fight, and we know how strong this Red Mage team is. We just saw it in the previous fight, and we've seen it in the weeks prior, so we know that this is going to be a very strong team for Unhindered to deal with. Not only that, but he has 2 win units going against the Reagan, which is going to have that elemental advantage, so it's going to be a little difficult from Unhindered side to really overcome that. We're going to really need to see this Rain put in some serious tanking to be able to tank in that, not only the ice coming out from Reagan, but also he's going to have to tank the water coming out from Miranda, which might be a difficult thing to overcome. So we'll have to see how much damage Johnny B's team can put down on Unhindered, and same thing from Unhindered to Johnny B. Let's get to see how big those numbers are going to be. So right now we're just getting the hastes online, and then, well, never mind. We get the first damage of the match, and that was pretty good considering the elemental disadvantage.
Yeah. Okay, so that Reagan is nearly down to his death, but did he proc his heal back?
He did.
Oh, wow. Okay, so Murmur not enough damage on that Moore, so now we have hOwLeT not casting any buff, only advancing, so now Marie Moore again. Is she going to do as much damage? But now it's Serial B, so there's Sleep and Poison, I think. Chance. Oh no, it's Silence. Oh wow. Okay, so Murmur won't be useful for the rest of the fight, and Reagan's near his death. That was a lot of damage. Courage proc, only 1 HP. Really has to be useful now. Oh whoosh, that was big. So Miranda's late to the party, coming forward. So now Miranda will be able to kill her. Re-raise remove.
Oh.
Yeah, that's big. Now we have hOwLeT joining the fray. Oh wow, big attack. hOwLeT one-shot that Miranda. Oh boy.
That is also big.
So Rain is asleep. He'll take more damage from the next hit because of this. So Reagan, it's his chance because Rain is a fire unit, but it was still a lot of damage on that Rain. Oh wow, hOwLeT again. Oh wow, he's a monster. What the heck?
Serious damage. Oh, and Rain with the cleanup.
Oh
wow.
Okay, GG to that hOwLeT. Wow. It's the first time I'm seeing him in action, really, and wow, it was so useful.
Yeah, almost every hit he was putting out was, I think, above like 7,000. I think the first hit was for like 8,000. So, yeah, he is a monster. He's very slept on, and he is definitely showing how useful of a unit he could be this match.
Unhindered really did a good job at protecting his hOwLeT because it was out of range during the whole fight.
Yeah, I don't think he took any, or maybe just like one small hit.
Okay,
Yeah, a little hit.
It's what I thought.
Wow.
Honestly, another really awesome match. The key of the match is the only presence of hOwLeT. He did everything.
I'm not gonna sleep on Marymore because she put in some serious work this match too. So
Yes,
like she, I think the status effects were the key of the match because there was a slow that landed on Murmur and I think on Reagan in the beginning as well.
it was silence.
And then
no?
the silence that came in from Marymore later onto the Murmur also. So like
Poor girl.
the status effects were just way too much to deal with.
I think that the team wasn't prepared for magic damage because both wind unit did a lot of damage on that Reagan.
Yeah, there was a lot of damage coming out for the elemental disadvantage that I was not expecting to see.
Alright, it was awesome. GG on 141.
Yep, GG's. Alright, so for this matchup, we have Rindell versus Manta. On Rindell's side, I'm going to predict the Eliza, Charisse, and Nasha team comp. In my heart, I really wanted to say Setia, Eliza, and Liarte, because I feel like if there was a time to do a triple bow team, this would be the map for it. But I decided to be a bit more responsible and choose Nasha as a tank instead. I think Eliza and Charisse are both very powerful units that can put out a lot of damage, and I think the elements also work out for them in this matchup too, so I think that would be a very strong team comp to come out from Rindell. On Manta's side, I'm going to predict the Raph, Halloween Lucia, and Mish. Raph is an amazing tank, and I think that she can very well protect her team, especially Halloween Lucia, who doesn't really need protecting because she has a 7,500 physical damage barrier. So I think that between the two of them, they can close the gap if Rindell does decide to bring missile units. And Mish, being in the back, don't disregard his damage because he can put out some damage as well as being able to turn your opponent's units into toads. So I think that team comp could be very strong for Manta to bring out as well. So let's get into the match and see what they brought.
Alright, so third match of the night, we have Manta against Rindell. So on Manta's side, we have Raph, Halloween Lucia, and Meech. And on Rindell's side, we have Eliza, Liarte, and Perrine. So let's see how it went.
Alright, so for this match, once again, missile comp coming out. But for Rindell's team, it's not really unexpected. But I definitely think that this team is going to be able to shine very well. Eliza being a very strong DPS unit, Liarte having a lot of those status effects that can really cause a hurt, especially since every unit coming out from Manta's side is probably going to be 97 Faith, or maybe Raph will just be a little higher. But yeah, so the status effects could definitely land coming out from Liarte, and then Perrine, not really much to say about Perrine. She's an amazing unit. So, but that's not underestimating what we have coming out from Manta. Raph being an extremely good tank, being able to tank strike very well, and Halloween Lucia, she's plagued the game for so long. We already know how good she is too. So I'm really interested in seeing what kind of damage both teams are be able to put out. Halloween Lucia having that physical barrier is gonna definitely help out a lot though.
Now I'm very afraid for Rindell because Perrine is really way back and the two missile units are right in front.
I don't know if you just saw that though, because that helps. Liarte just landed a stop onto Raph.
Yeah.
So that's huge.
Oh, that was on Raph. Oh wow. Yes,
Yeah, that was on Raph.
Oh, and a reflex. Here I go.
I'm not feeling too bad for Rindell anymore.
But he was really lucky because that Eliza is at the forefront, right? And, she's dead now.
Oh man, yeah, this is gonna be, even with the stopped Raph, this might be a little rough, but
yeah,
we will see. Not gonna ever count out a Perrine.
So now we have Perrine's LB. So what level of damage is she going to do? Oh boy, okay. So now we have Alu and Lucia, preemptive counter, CD up on Perrine, triple hit attack from Lucia. It will break the barrier, but at least she got CD up and heal back. So now she's going to strike back, going forward. What level of damage? That's so unfortunate that she went for the raft though, but at least she's going again, but AP is going low now. No, unfortunately for Randall, I don't think he will be able to win that match. Wow, it was over 9,000.
Yeah. Yeah, we didn't have to worry about that any longer. That match was ended right then and there. Wow.
Oh, okay. This was rough. Honestly, I think that it was an issue of initial placement for Randall. There was maybe too much overthinking from Randall on this one. Probably that he thought that his missile units will be expected, so he decided to put them in the middle instead of in the higher grounds. But unfortunately, what happened is that Perrine wasn't able to take charge and go in the front, so his missile unit were totally exposed from the beginning to the end. Unfortunately for him, it didn't pay off, even if the status effect were landed early in the game.
Yeah, I think it must have been wanting to get some of those buffs off, because Perrine does have really good buffs. I think she has an AoE resistance buff that she can grant to her teammates, slash resist. I think it's actually all in the same buff. But yeah, I think the goal might have been to get those buffs off on the missile units and then have her start running down to the middle. But like you mentioned, unfortunately, it was just a little too late for her to join the fight, and the Rangers were able to be taken out a little too early. But all that being said, a very exciting match still with the stop on the raft right off the beginning. It was anyone's fight to win at that moment, so it's still exciting to watch.
Yeah, I was a little empathetic to Randall, but I must really give all the credit to Manta, because he took a chance with Alu and Lucia despite the fact that Cherries was highly anticipated with a barrier break. But he had faith in his raft, and even with stop, I mean, she was the MVP of the game, and she was stopped.
Very true. Yeah, Perrine still being stuck on the raft despite all that. It was, yeah. Raft did a great job, all regardless.
GG's to you guys, and a great job from Manta.
Yep, GG's to both players. For this matchup, we have McCrane versus Malganman. On McCrane's side, I'm predicting the Sottily, the Yerma, and the Valade. I think Sottily Yerma is a very strong duo, and especially so against Malganman's lineup. The main concern would be the Laswell, not only for the elemental disadvantage, but also because Sottily is infamously inaccurate and Laswell can be a bit of AD. But that's where Valade comes in, because one of the buffs Valade can give is accuracy, along with protect, reaction block rate, and about a million other buffs that I can't remember. Not only being able to do that, but also be able to give full life, cures from the backline, I think makes him a really good support for that win duo. From Malganman's side, I'm going to predict the Katana team. I think the Astrius, Laswell, and Y'shtola as support will be a very strong trio. Astrius can cover one of the big threats in Sorrow, and Laswell can cover the two that I just mentioned in Sottily and Yerma, with Y'shtola being in the back to be able to give Protect and Shell, some cures, and maybe be able to sneak in some damage here and there. I think that could be a very strong team comp from Malganman. So let's get into the match and see what these players brought.
Alright, so for the fourth match, we have Malganman against McCrane. On Malganman's side, we have Naya, Whisper, and Astrius. On McCrane's side, we have Barret, Sadali, and Valade. So let's see how it went.
Alright, so coming out from Malganman's side, I see the Naya, and I instantly like it. I'm a huge Naya fan, so especially if she's able to get the Reflect on here, that could be a pain for Sadali. So let's see which buffs that he has turned on for Naya, and see how it goes from there. But this is the standard healer, tank, big DPS with Astrius combo, so a very standard good composition coming out from Malganman. And on McCrane's side, same thing. We have a tank slash DPS in Barret. Sadly, which needs no introduction. We know how devastating his status effects and his damage can be. Also being able to grant re-raise. I mean, he's a Swiss Army knife of a unit. He can do it everything. And then Valade, once again, being able to give tons of amazing buffs, and also provide some solid healing and support from the back line. So these are two powerhouse teams that's going to go at each other with a lot of sustain. So excited to see what happens when these two teams clash up.
Yeah, both teams are pretty similar. I think I'll give the damage edge to McCrane, but Astrius, we see it a couple of times. He has the damage for 2 units.
Yep, and I just saw from the Naya that Reflect come out, so that could be
Oh,
spell trouble from McCrane. So let's see what happens.
first damage. Oh wow, that's a lot of damage on that Whisper.
Yeah, that was impressive.
She can be really tanky against missiles, so I guess that she was more built probably to tank slash damage this time.
That makes sense.
So Naya probably only a heal on the Whisper. It's going to be big, but she's still really close to that Whisper though, so it could be really troublesome. So we have Astrius going forward, hitting the 2 units. Not a lot of damage. That's really unexpected. It's not looking good so far from Hangman. So of course the heal coming on that Whisper. Now we have Sadali going next, Indoctrination. Okay, so there was this Reflect that proc, but I think it still did damage to Astrius.
It did damage to Astrius, but not to the Whisper. So yeah,
Okay.
And it did do as much damage to Sadly as I expected. So that's
Oh
good.
wow.
Oh,
So Barry
wow.
killing off that Astrius, so removing the coverage beforehand is really big.
Yeah, that is huge. But Naya should be able to bring him right back up with the full life. So, but here comes the LP from
Wow.
Sadly.
I mean, there was no hope, and now she's charmed. Okay, and dead. So I hope for him that it is an aggressive Naya. Otherwise, he's in trouble. Oh wow, okay. The key of the match, I think, was the damage on that Barret killing Astrius right off the bat. That was really big.
Yeah, I mean, not only that, but the damage and it removed the courage. Like it was just perfect. Yeah, that was great.
Also, that was really well tanked from McCrane's side. I know that he's a monster to predict his opponent and build a team that can tank absolutely everything, and now all his team is full life. Astrius doing absolutely no damage to his team was really big.
Yeah, it's kind of I could say a boring thing to give key of the match to a unit's tankiness, but I mean, honestly, to see Astrius do so little damage, that has to be the key of the match for me, was just how tanky McCrane made his team while still being able to dish out damage. Like it's quite an achievement.
So a slow death coming on Mongman's side because when I don't know why, but for some units like arithmeticians and on mostly support like Naya, the loading time, the processing time is so long.
The arithmetician, so they have those big brains, you know, just wait, trying to process all of it.
And Mongman, don't worry, welcome to the club. Chise and I both were the victim of McCrane in WDL Season 3. We both got completely stumped by him.
Yeah, be part of the club now.
Oh well, McCrane, like, it's the usual. A really tanky team that can tank everything. Very well built, very well done. Nice job, McCrane, seriously.
Yeah, absolutely well done. Great job. GG's to both players.
Yes.
For this matchup, we have Numero 80 versus Turambar. On Numero's side, I'm going to predict Skahal, Naya, and Shutzel. For Skahal, I'm looking for 3 things: Earth units, Rearers removal, and healing power down. And I'm not seeing a lot of that from Turambar's roster. So I think running Skahal could be a very strong idea as a main carry. Not only that, but you have Naya there for the healing to kind of give him that infinite courage loop that we're also familiar with, as well as the Reflect in case Turambar decides to bring out the Jaden and the Miranda. I think that would be a very strong duo. And of course, Shetzel there, being able to also be Lightning Element, pair up off of those VCs, and just being a good unit in and of himself. From Turambar's side, like I have mentioned before, I think this is a very missile-heavy map, so I'm thinking Jaden, Lucia, and Shell. I think going full missile with the quicken strategy from Shell is a very devastating combo, and honestly, it's a very hard combo for I think many of Numero's teams to really overcome. So I could definitely see that coming out from Turambar's side. Let's get into the match and see what they brought.
Alright, so final match for the blind division. We have myself against tRaSh. So on my side we have Zazan, Summer El and King Bradley. Don't ask how it works, it doesn't. I simply put it anyway. On tRaSh side we have Mariel, Lucia and the terrible Jaden. So it's a very terrible come to face. It was the one I expected but at least wanted to face. So
No bias at all coming out. But yeah, coming out from tRaSh side, we got the missile comp, very expected. Like I said, this map is pretty great for having the high ground for some missile units to be able to put out some damage at a very long and safe range. With Mariel being down, to be able to tank out some of that damage. So if Numero's units get close too quickly, be able to just make sure to get a couple of hits in more before they reach the gunning units. Oh, well,
yes, we have the charm. And
I take it back.
you can see that Zazan is not in front of that Mariel, but only in the diagonal from one space. So just because of this, he was able to use Steel Art. And also, I switched the TMR at last minute on Zazan, so he didn't add 11k HP, so he was able to be one-shot by Jaden. The mistake from on my side. So now I'm very vulnerable, but at least I got that Mariel for myself. And you'll see that Mariel will go behind that Jaden. Yes, that's big. So now we have King Bradley, Shadow Dance. So we have a barrier. He'd be going forward. So now Jaden to dealing damage, a lot of damage, killing that Elsurel in one shot, but she had the re-raise at least. So now we have Lucia. She's probably going to finish me. Beautiful blast, courage on that Bradley. So 1 HP Bradley against the world.
Where have I seen this before? Every Bradley
both.
match ever.
Okay, so now we have a full Mariel. We know how tanky she is, and we have a 1 HP Bradley. So let's see how it will end. And I really prayed at this moment that she will proc courage. At least it's what he did. And I was also asking for a heal. I had my heal, but I was kind of deceived by the level though. So Assault Blade, enough damage. She doesn't have courage removal, so at this point I'm pretty confident. And she doesn't even have enough damage to proc that courage. And she's dead. So very lucky on my side. tRaSh was a really good sport that we loved during all the video. I mean, he had the best team. Even if he didn't add much time to prep, I think that he had the right unit at the right place. And what he told me, he didn't expect the Zazan to have the range, but I had it by 1. So his plan was to have a basic attack, but it didn't happen. So that was our crazy fight.
Yeah, when something like your tank getting charmed turn 1 happens, there's not really much you can do aside from laugh that off, you know. It's, it is what it is, it just happens. But yeah, that was a fun match to watch regardless. Even with that happening, it still ended up being close.
So I guess that everyone's wondering what's the key of the match.
I mean, mine's pretty obvious.
Yeah, it's that damage coming from Summer Surreal.
Oh yeah, she was easily the key.
Yeah, so of course it was that charm coming off right up the bat. I mean, and the fact that she went behind our units, that was everything was aligned for a win from me.
Yeah, that charm definitely set the pace for the rest of the match. So that has to be my key of the match.
So good job, Bradley, and no, good. Honestly, it was really fun. Thank you, tRaSh, for the game. Thank you for being a good sport, and we'll talk again.
Yep, GG's to both players.
Oh man, that was a very fun week again. So, in first position we have myself with 4 points. With 3 points we have Alcar, Macrain, and tRaSh. With 2 points, Greatness and Unhindered. And with 1 point, Menta, Johnny B, and Mohangman. Sorry for Randall, you didn't pick up your first win yet. Well, at least I don't think it's a lost cause. There's still 5 matches remaining, and mathematically, you're still in the race. So, don't lose hope, at least do your best for the remainder of the tournament. Again, thank you everyone for participating. You make this tournament really great, and every inch is very interesting. So thank you all, and we'll see you in the next video.